Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast. Do you work in emerging tech, working on something innovative, maybe an entrepreneur? Apply to be a guest at www.coruzant.com/brand. Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Christina Snyder. Christina Snyder leverages decades of leadership and global growth to help their clients scale efficiently through strategic outsourcing. With deep expertise in building high-performing, dedicated teams, she has led transformative initiatives across industries including retail, mortgage and financial services, technology, customer experience, healthcare, and finance and accounting, driving measurable outcomes for clients around the world. Well, good afternoon, Christina. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely, my friend. I appreciate it. Hailing out of the great state of North Carolina. I appreciate it there in Raleigh. I'm in Kansas City. As we were just chatting before, this weather's kind of crazy this time of year. So everybody's buckling down for this. So I just appreciate you making the time jumping on today. So Christina, if I could, I'm going to jump into your first question. You've spent decades leading global growth initiatives through strategic outsourcing. What has changed most in how companies think about outsourcing today compared to even 5 or 10 years ago?
Great question. And it has changed dramatically, especially over the last 5 years. When I think about my decades experience of doing outsourcing, it used to be as a leader thinking about cost containment and it being a bit of a transactional tool at the board level. And now it's shifted into a strategic initiative, global workforce transformation, that most boardrooms are talking about how to access these highly special skills, no matter where they reside around the world. And a recent survey that we did confirmed that it's become rather mainstream, especially in the US, whereas 5+ years ago, it was only the enterprise grade companies that would leverage outsourcing as a tactic. But now 60% of our recent respondents in a survey attested that they outsource more than 3 of their functions globally. And so not only are companies shifting in the way that they're looking at their workforces, they're also being given access to different models. So 20 years ago, it was just the traditional BPO outsourcing models that existed. And today there's many more models, dedicated staffing, some of the part-time work, the EOR. And so companies have a lot more ability for choice.
I think we're seeing that today. Obviously, we've become really a global economy, but having that flexibility, again, I know back in the day, we all think about the old school brick and mortar where we talked about cost containment, as you mentioned, but this shift to a global strategy and finding that specialty talent is certainly the way companies have been moving. So I really appreciate your insights and what you're doing there. Christina, with remote and hybrid work now normalized, how has global talent access reshaped the way companies scale operations and customer experience?
It's a large shift because, just as you said, this highly skilled labor, I liken it to now companies can focus on orchestration, not necessarily location. And looking at what they want to do with their brands and be able to unlock this ability to have an offshore or nearshore team of highly skilled, high-performing teams that they can access to be part of their go-forward and go-to-market strategy. And you can see that this global talent access that has these role-based skills and functions like finance and accounting, business intelligence, AI-enabled ready talent have given more flexibility and capability and scale to organizations. And because there's this invitation to engage remote workers or hybrid workers, you can have a distributed team that follows the sun type modus operandi for faster response times, 24/7 engagement. And the customer at the end of the day doesn't care where the team sits. Nor does in many cases today the senior leader onshore, as long as the innovation and the customer satisfaction and the brand DNA is accepted and upheld. So it's really changed this remote and hybrid. And what we're seeing, 78% of enterprise survey respondents have said that this remote capability has increased their scale and flexibility to running their businesses.
That's awesome. I love the fact that people are seeing that they can increase that scale, having the talent, being able to serve customers worldwide in their time zones obviously improves the customer experience. But I like what you said early on. Companies can focus on orchestration, not necessarily location. I thought that was really cool. And of course, we've got highly skilled talent, nearshore, offshore, all around now. And that's helping businesses adapt more to their customer needs. So I appreciate that. Christina, you've driven measurable outcomes for clients worldwide. What metrics should leaders track to ensure their outsourcing strategy is delivering real business impact?
When I meet with C-suite and I think about my own business and my experience, it starts with the question of what does a leader's success look like? When they think about their company, what do they foresee success is in the future for that business? Whether it's revenue enablement, whether it's customer satisfaction, retention, lifetime value, speed to market, quantifying and clearly understanding what their success looks like is an imperative. And so based on that, when you access talent, whether it's onshore or offshore, you match and marry that success factor with the metrics that you choose to evaluate the performance of your talent. And so I always say that your KPIs tied to your goals should be the same for your onshore talent and your offshore. They should have the same performance metrics. And whether it's a healthcare company that's focused on RCM and that revenue and customer care and that speed to cash is their priority, or it's a company that's in the financial service or a financial firm that, is very laser focused on invoice to cash, order to cash, speed to closing and forecasting, whatever those metrics are, it's vitally important that you connect your talent strategy to those KPIs to have success at the end of the day.
I really love that. Tying that, again, as you said, talent strategy back to those metrics. You talked early on, what does a leader's success look like at an organization? And you highlighted some things like revenue enablement, speed to market, customer experience, retention. Those are so important, but without those KPIs or metrics to measure that performance, you're really not going to see much progress there. So I totally get that. And I appreciate your insights. And Christina, the last question of the day, as we look ahead, how do you see outsourcing evolving in the age of AI, automation, and digital transformation? What should leaders do now to prepare?
A common question, especially since every day all of us hear about AI and AI. And I'm very proud to be in an industry, global talent, that is as fast a trending industry as AI and an enabler to AI, especially with companies that provide and access highly skilled global talent. I was very pleased personally to receive the results of a recent survey that we did that was consistent with what our clients are saying, that AI is a disruptor as well as an enabler, and outsourcing is a key enabler for AI. And so rather than diminishing outsource's role, AI is basically expanding its strategic relevance, and it's become a test bed, outsourcing, for companies leveraging AI and utilizing their AI and innovation strategies and accessing key talents like data annotation, Snowflake developers all around the world to be able to access this capability. In some cases, even stronger than onshore capability and available to allow organizations to leverage that capability, increase their agility, use it as a test bed. And we know from the survey that 44% of our enterprise survey adopters were saying that they view the outsourcing industry as a way to enhance AI and their strategies, as well as looking for outsourced companies that have AI tools, AI talent. And I know organizations that actually have training that bring AI-ready talent right to the front door when companies need this. And so when companies take a step back and think about how do we leverage global talent through the outsourcing industry with the different models and engage that with what we're trying to do with our brand and our adoption of AI, they're actually setting themselves up to be resilient for the future, as well as resilient for the future of their work strategy.
That's awesome. Thank you. AI is certainly a game changer. We talk a lot about AI here on the podcast, just a ton. Doesn't matter what the guest background is, but it's just amazing to see that. And AI is certainly a huge enabler in the global talent business. As you mentioned, outsourcing is a key enabler for AI as well. But leveraging this technology across teams increases capacity, efficiency, as you mentioned. But I liked bringing that AI talent, or I should say that talent that's AI ready to the table is a game changer as well. And I thought that was interesting. So I appreciate that. And Christina, it was such a pleasure having you on today. And I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate the time.
Bye for now.